When one is never invited to speak, one learns instead to observe.
This is not a confession of weakness. It is a veiled threat. Welcome back to Star Flair. Today, we are stepping away from the battlefield to dissect a masterclass in psychological warfare. We are going to break down how a man with no physical power and no formal title orchestrates the destruction of the Targaryen dynasty using nothing but whispers, metaphor, and a brilliantly engineered thought virus. To understand the sheer lethality of Larys Strong's approach, we must first look at the state of the chessboard. Going into this conversation, Queen Alicent is suffering from a profound, isolating trauma. Her father, Otto Hightower, has just been abruptly dismissed as Hand of the King. What Alicent does not fully grasp yet is the royal cover-up behind this dismissal. Otto was fired for speaking the truth about Princess Rhaenyra's illicit late-night escapades. Instead of holding his daughter accountable, King Viserys chose to banish the messenger. Alicent is left alone in the Red Keep, stripped of her father's protection, grieving, and entirely vulnerable. She is a queen without a shield, making her the perfect target for a master manipulator.
An outsider among the natives. Malvales, rare bloom, indigenous to Bravos. By all rights, it shouldn't be thriving here. Nature, such mystery.
Watch carefully how Larys enters the board. He doesn't start with politics, he starts with botany. But this isn't small talk, it is a highly calculated metaphor attack. He is looking right at Queen Alicent, but talking about a foreign flower that shouldn't be thriving here. The hidden meaning is devastating. The flower is Alicent. He is subtly reminding the queen that she is an outsider surrounded by the natives of the Targaryen court. By wrapping this aggressive strike inside a harmless, poetic observation about nature, he slips right past her rational defenses. Without ever raising his voice, he is quietly whispering to her, "You are not a Targaryen, and you are completely vulnerable."
The weather has been lovely.
Indeed. And yet it is a dark day for the realm. Your father was a good man.
Alicent tries to maintain a polite, neutral wall by retreating into small talk about the weather. But Larys shatters that wall instantly by weaponizing her grief. By offering what sounds like genuine, heartfelt sympathy, he executes a brilliant emotional hook. He knows that if he approaches her with politics, she will immediately raise her shields. Instead, he targets her deepest vulnerability. By validating her pain over the loss of her father, he completely bypasses her rational mind. He forces her to drop her guard, transforming a cautious queen into a grieving daughter who is suddenly desperate for a friend.
As is yours, who took his place.
Yet still, the manner of your father's departure, I feel something of an injustice.
Notice how Alicent tries to put her wall back up. She deflects by bringing up Larys's own father, the man who just replaced Otto Hightower. But Larys doesn't take the bait. Instead, he pushes the knife in a little deeper. By using the emotionally charged word injustice, he isn't stating a political fact. He is deliberately creating a feeling. He is quietly planting the idea that something shady happened behind closed doors, and that Alicent has been wronged. The thunder rumbling in the background perfectly scores this moment. He is completely overriding her logical brain. By the end of this sentence, the queen is no longer calm. She is curious, defensive, and perfectly primed for the poison he is about to drip into her ear.
What do you know of the manner of his leaving?
When one is never invited to speak, one learns instead to observe. You're perhaps in need of an ally?
Alicent takes the bait. She asks what he knows, giving him the exact opening he engineered. Larys drops the mask of the harmless philosopher and plays his most dangerous card, the observer. On the surface, this sounds like a sad, self-deprecating comment about his physical limitations and low social status, but it is actually a massive flex of power. He is issuing a chilling warning. I see everything, and I know the secrets everyone else misses. Then, he casually asks if she needs an ally. It is a brilliant psychological trick. He isn't begging for a job, he is pitching himself as a highly lethal political weapon. By posing as a quiet, invisible spy, he perfectly positions himself right in the queen's blind spot.
I'm the queen. I have no shortage of allies.
Naturally. Princess Rhaenyra, for example.
Alicent throws up her ultimate defense mechanism, her title. She claims she has plenty of allies, trying to prove she doesn't need a spy's help. But Larys knows this is a hollow flex, so instead of arguing, he casually agrees, and then immediately weaponizes her best friend. By sarcastically naming Rhaenyra as an example, he finally introduces the true target of this entire conversation. With just 5 words, Larys flawlessly shifts the direction of the conflict. He turns the queen's attention exactly where he wants it, locking the crosshairs right onto the princess.
State your purpose, my lord.
I did wonder if she could be relied upon now that she's unwell.
Alicent is losing patience here. By commanding him to state his purpose, she is trying to force him out of the shadows and into a direct confrontation. But Larys refuses to play by her rules. He feigns a clumsy hesitation, and then drops his most lethal weapon yet, the poisoned question. Notice that he doesn't actually accuse the princess of anything. If he had made a direct statement, Alicent would have immediately demanded proof. Instead, he masks his attack as an innocent inquiry about her health. But by dropping that vague, loaded word, unwell, he executes a flawless psychological maneuver. He bypasses Alicent's rational defenses entirely, forcing her own mind to panic, jump to conclusions, and start filling in the horrifying blanks.
Unwell? I haven't heard anything.
Begging your pardon, Your Grace, I may be mistaken. It's just that on the very same night your father was dismissed, the Grand Maester delivered a tea to the princess's chamber.
Alicent is caught completely off guard, prompting Larys to execute a brilliant defensive maneuver, the fake retreat. By cushioning his explosive intel with, "I may be mistaken," he builds perfect, plausible deniability. He isn't officially accusing the princess of treason. He is just a clumsy outsider who might have misread the situation, keeping his own hands completely clean. But once his shield is up, he drops the absolute dagger by mentioning a tea delivered in the dead of night. In this world, that implies moon tea, a potion used to prevent pregnancy, covertly exposing that Rhaenyra is engaged in a highly dangerous sexual scandal. The true lethality, however, is how he connects the dots. By linking the delivery directly to the exact night Otto Hightower was fired, he forces Alicent to uncover a massive royal conspiracy on her own. He makes her realize that her husband actively covered up the princess's crimes and punished her father for daring to speak the truth.
Tea
Yes,
that the Grand Maester himself brought.
at the direction of the king, as I understand it. I do hope she's not unwell.
Listen to Alicent's voice here. She is reeling. She is connecting the dots in real time, but she needs him to confirm it. And Larys does, but he adds the ultimate kill shot, at the direction of the king. This completely shifts the target. Larys isn't just hinting at Rhaenyra's scandal anymore, he is explicitly exposing a massive royal cover-up. He is forcing Alicent to realize that her husband knew the truth, secretly ordered the medical intervention himself, and fired her father for daring to speak about it. In this one moment, Alicent's entire worldview shatters. She is forced to realize that her childhood friend lied to her face, and her husband is actively betraying her family to protect the princess. And the true sickness of Larys's strategy? He immediately wraps this world-destroying revelation in a blanket of polite, fake concern, keeping his own hands completely clean while lighting the match that will burn the realm down.
Rhaenyra sailed with the king to Driftmark yesterday at daybreak.
Oh, what good news. I must have been in error.
Alicent offers an alibi, trying to shut down the terrifying narrative Larys just built, and Larys immediately backs down, executing the ultimate fake retreat. On the surface, he adopts a polite, relieved tone, playing the concerned courtier who is simply glad to be wrong. But beneath this mask of innocence is pure strategic brilliance. By immediately apologizing for his error, he traps Alicent in plausible deniability. He removes himself as a threat, meaning the queen has no enemy to attack and no one to direct her anger toward. His goal was never to uncover the truth. His goal was simply to deliver weaponized information and walk away with perfectly clean hands.
Oh, the relief. See, I thought for Melos himself, that condition must be something very serious. What happiness it is to have been wrong.
Notice how Larys justifies his mistake right before he exits. He specifically names the Grand Maester again to highlight that the highest medical official in the realm was used for this secret, emphasizing just how serious this royal cover-up truly is. And then, he delivers the final line. What happiness it is to have been wrong. On the surface, it sounds like a polite, harmless sign-off. But psychologically, it translates to one thing: mission complete. He didn't come here to uncover the truth from the queen. His goal was simply to deliver weaponized information and walk away clean. By leaving on a note of feigned innocence, he guarantees that Alicent cannot just brush the comment aside. He didn't give her explicit facts, Instead, he successfully installed a thought virus in her mind. He leaves her completely isolated in a state of paranoid suspension, ensuring the suspicion will fester, grow, and ultimately tear the Targaryen dynasty apart. Larys Strong wins this encounter flawlessly, without ever making a single direct accusation. He does not hand Alicent a sealed dossier of facts. Instead, he successfully installs a thought virus. By exploiting her grief, isolating her as an outsider, and feeding her mind just enough shadowy fragments to construct its own nightmare, he transforms the Queen's own cognitive processes into the weapon that destroys her trust. Larys keeps his hands perfectly clean while triggering Alicent's shift toward ruthless self-preservation, quietly lighting the match that will eventually burn the Targaryen dynasty to ash.